Good evening, friends. Let me ask you a simple yet profound question. Who controls your life? Pause for a moment, close your eyes if you need to. Think deeply about it. Is it you? Or someone else? Maybe the circumstances, the society, the economy, or even a higher power. The truth is, most of us walk through life on autopilot. We think we are in control, but in reality, we're shaped by habits, fears, opinions, and conditions. Life is like a flowing river, sometimes gentle, sometimes turbulent. But how you navigate it determines whether you float effortlessly or feel like you're drowning. Before diving into the question of control, we must first ask ourselves, are we even aware of our life? It might seem like an odd question, of course, we're aware, aren't we? But take a closer look. How often do we move through our days without truly noticing what we're doing, thinking, or feeling? Consider this when you wake up in the morning. Is it a conscious act, or do you reach for your phone out of habit? When you speak to someone, are you fully present, or is your mind racing ahead to what you'll say next? Most of us spend the majority of our lives in a kind of waking sleep, running on patterns and routines that we barely notice. Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Perhaps it was during a quiet moment in nature when you were deeply immersed in something you love. In those moments, there's a sense of presence, isn't there? Time seems to stand still, and you feel connected to something greater than yourself. That's what awareness feels like, being completely here, not caught in the past or projecting into the future. The truth is, awareness is the foundation of control. Without it, you can't even begin to ask who or what is running your life. You're like a boat adrift on the ocean, carried by the currents of habit and circumstance, unaware that you even have a sail to guide you. Start small. Pay attention to the things you usually overlook. Notice how your mind works, how thoughts arise, how emotions pull at you. Observe your reactions without judgment. This isn't about changing anything right away. It's about seeing clearly. Awareness isn't something you achieve overnight. It's a practice, a way of living. The more you cultivate it, the more you'll see the invisible threads that shape your life. And once you see them, you can begin to untangle them. Remember, if you don't know where you are, how can you know where to go? Awareness is the first step, the foundation upon which everything else is built. Only then can you begin to explore the deeper question, who controls your life? The way we experience life is not determined by what happens outside of us, but by how we process it within ourselves. Everything you see, hear, or feel is filtered through your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. These inner mechanisms are like the lens through which you view the world. If the lens is cloudy or distorted, your reality will appear the same, no matter how perfect the external circumstances might be. Think about a moment when something trivial completely ruined your day. Was it really the event itself, or was it your reaction to it? Perhaps someone's words triggered anger, sadness, or frustration. But if you truly reflect, you realize that their words only had power because you allowed them to. They merely touched something within you that was already there, a belief, a wound, a fear. Now imagine the opposite. A day when you felt so joyful and at peace that even difficulties couldn't shake you. What changed? It wasn't the world outside. It was your inner world, your state of mind. The truth is, we often live as though our emotions and thoughts are beyond our control, like there's some kind of weather system we're forced to endure. But that's not true. While you can't always stop a thought from arising or an emotion from surfacing, you can decide how much power they hold over you. You can choose whether to be carried away by them or to observe them with calm detachment. This isn't about suppressing or ignoring what you feel. It's about creating space within yourself, a kind of inner stillness where thoughts and emotions can arise and pass without controlling you. When you begin to see them as passing clouds rather than the sky itself, you reclaim your power. Mastering your inner world doesn't mean shutting out the external world. It means understanding that your experience of life is shaped from the inside out. If you don't take charge of your inner world, someone or something else will. The media, society, or even random events will dictate your mood, your choices, and ultimately your destiny. To take charge of your life, you must first take charge of yourself. When your thoughts become clear and your emotions stable, life itself feels different, not because the world has changed, but because you have. We spend a great deal of energy trying to control the world around us. We try to manage people's behavior, influence outcomes, and manipulate circumstances to fit our desires. But have you ever stopped to wonder if all this effort is worth it? How much of the external world can you truly control? Consider the weather. No matter how much you want sunshine, the rain will come when it's meant to. Similarly, you can't control how people think, what they say, or how they act. People are shaped by their own experiences, beliefs, and emotions, just as you are. Yet we often tie our happiness to the impossible task of making others conform to our expectations. This pursuit of external control often leads to frustration, anger, and disappointment. Why? Because it's a futile effort. The truth is, the external world operates according to its own rhythms, beyond your grasp. Life is full of uncertainties, and no amount of planning or effort can guarantee the outcomes you seek. But here's the paradox. While you cannot control what happens around you, you have absolute control over how you respond to it. When you shift your focus inward, you discover a power that far exceeds the illusion of controlling external events. Letting go of the need to control doesn't mean surrendering to chaos. It means understanding what is within your influence and what is not. It means placing your energy where it truly matters on your thoughts, actions, and choices. When you stop trying to manage the uncontrollable, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Think of it like holding water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you hold it gently, it stays. Life works the same way. The more you try to control every detail, the more chaotic it becomes. But when you let go, trust the flow, and focus on your own state of being, life often aligns in unexpected ways. Let go of the illusion of external control, and you'll find a deeper sense of peace and clarity. When you stop wrestling with the world, you realize that the only thing you ever needed to manage was your own self. In that realization lies true freedom. Responsibility is often misunderstood. When we hear the word, we think of blame, burden, or obligation. But true responsibility is none of these. It's not about taking the weight of the world on your shoulders or blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. Instead, it's about recognizing that your life, your experience, and your responses are within your control. I think about how often we point fingers. When something goes wrong, we're quick to blame someone else, the government, our parents, our circumstances, even luck. While it may feel easier to shift the burden onto something external, it also makes you powerless. When you give the responsibility for your life to someone else, you also give away your freedom. But what if you flip the narrative? What if instead of asking, why did this happen to me, you ask, what can I do with this? Responsibility is not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. The word itself holds the answer, the ability to respond. No matter what life throws at you, the response is yours to choose. This doesn't mean ignoring the external factors or denying the challenges you face. It means understanding that the power to shape your experience lies in your hands, not in the hands of the world. For example, imagine two people facing the same difficulty. One feels defeated, blaming everyone and everything for their misfortune. The other sees the same situation as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. The circumstances are identical, but the experiences are worlds apart. Why? Because one chose to take responsibility while the other surrendered it. Responsibility is not about control over outcomes. It's about control over your attitude and effort. When you embrace this, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling like a victim of life and start feeling like the creator of your journey. This shift is liberating. It doesn't make challenges disappear, but it changes how you approach them. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes or face setbacks, but it does mean that when these moments arise, you'll own them. You'll look at what went wrong, not with guilt, but with curiosity. You'll learn from it, grow from it, and move forward stronger than before. The beauty of responsibility is that it puts the power back in your hands. It reminds you that while you may not control every aspect of life, you always control your part in it. And in that lies the true essence of freedom. In life, we are constantly surrounded by opinions, those of friends, family, society, and even strangers on the internet. From the moment we wake up to the moment we sleep, these voices are all around us, telling us how to think, how to act, and what to value. It's as if the world has handed us a script for our lives, and without realizing it, we start performing the role written for us. But here's the question: are these opinions really yours? Or have you allowed them to take over your sense of self? Opinions are like passing clouds. They come and go, shifting with time and perspective. What is praised today may be ridiculed tomorrow. What someone thinks of you at one moment may change in the next. Yet, we often let these transient judgments define who we are and dictate our choices. We start chasing approval, fearing rejection, and living according to standards that aren't even our own. The truth is, opinions are reflections of the person who holds them, not the one they're about. When someone criticizes or praises you, it says more about their perceptions, values, and biases than it does about you. But if you don't understand this, you'll end up carrying the weight of others' opinions as if they were your own burden. Imagine how much energy is wasted trying to please everyone, to avoid judgment, or to live up to expectations that don't align with your true self. This constant need for external validation keeps you trapped, running in circles, but never feeling truly fulfilled. To free yourself, you must learn to detach from opinions. This doesn't mean ignoring feedback or becoming indifferent to others. Instead, it means developing the ability to listen without being swayed, to consider without being consumed. It means staying grounded in your own values and sense of purpose, no matter what others may think. This detachment comes from a deeper understanding of who you are. When you know yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, and true desires, you become less affected by the noise around you. You realize that your worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion, and your path isn't defined by their approval. Let opinions come and go, just as clouds pass across the sky. They're fleeting and ever-changing while you remain constant. The clearer your sense of self, the easier it becomes to walk your own path, unshaken by the voices around you. In this clarity, you'll find a freedom that no amount of external approval can ever give you. Have you ever felt lost or restless, as though life is moving forward, yet something essential seems missing? This sense of unease often comes from living without a clear sense of purpose. When you don't know why you're here or what you're striving for, life becomes a series of distractions, obligations, and routines. You're busy, but are you truly living? Purpose is not about grand achievements or lofty ambitions that impress others. It's about alignment, finding that core intention or direction that resonates deeply with your heart and mind. When you live with purpose, your actions are no longer random or dictated by external pressures. They become intentional, and your energy flows toward what truly matters. Without purpose, even the smallest challenges feel overwhelming because there's no context to place them in. But when you're clear about your purpose, obstacles shrink in significance. They become stepping stones rather than roadblocks because you know where you're going, and no temporary setback can derail you. Purpose acts like a compass. Imagine being lost in a dense forest without a sense of direction. You might walk in circles, exhausting yourself but never making progress. Now imagine having a compass in your hand. Even if the path is still difficult, you know which way to go. Each step brings you closer to where you want to be. The first step to discovering your purpose is introspection. What excites you? What gives your life meaning? What makes you feel alive? These aren't questions you answer in a hurry. They require patience and honesty. It's not about what others expect of you or what society deems important. It's about connecting with what feels authentic to you. Once you align with your purpose, life doesn't necessarily become easier, but it becomes clearer. Decisions are simpler because you have a guiding principle to measure them against. Should you take that job? Should you invest your time in this relationship or that activity? When you know your purpose, the answers reveal themselves because they either align or they don't. Purpose also has a way of quieting the noise of the world. The opinions, distractions, and trivialities that once consumed your energy no longer hold power over you. Your focus sharpens, and your actions carry a sense of meaning and fulfillment. Living with purpose doesn't mean you have to achieve something monumental. Even the simplest life lived with clarity and intention is profoundly meaningful. Purpose is not about reaching a destination, but about walking a path that feels true to who you are. When you align with your purpose, life begins to flow not because the world has changed, but because you have. your energy, your focus, and your choices become aligned, creating a life that feels not just lived but fully alive. Discipline often gets a bad reputation. People see it as restrictive, rigid, or something that takes the joy out of life. But discipline is not about depriving yourself or living under constant rules, it's about creating structure that sets you free. True discipline is a tool, not a punishment, a way to focus your energy and shape your life with intention. Think about a river. When it flows freely within its banks, it brings life and nourishment wherever it goes. But when it overflows, it can cause chaos and destruction. Your mind, your actions, and your habits are the same. Without discipline, they can spill over into chaos, draining your energy and leaving you feeling scattered. But with discipline, they flow in harmony, creating progress and purpose. Discipline is what turns ideas into action and dreams into reality. You can have all the talent, intelligence, or passion in the world, but without discipline, it's like having a car with no fuel, it doesn't take you anywhere. It's discipline that keeps you moving, even on the days when motivation fades or obstacles arise. Many people think discipline is hard, but what's truly hard is living without it. When you lack discipline, life becomes a series of struggles, deadlines, maintain relationships, or stay healthy. You spend more energy trying to fix the consequences of undisciplined choices than you would have spent cultivating discipline in the first place. Discipline starts with small, consistent actions. It's not about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's about taking one step at a time. Wake up at the same time each day. Spend 10 minutes in quiet reflection. Commit to something small and follow through. These little acts of discipline build a foundation that supports you in bigger endeavors. What's remarkable about discipline is that it liberates you from the tyranny of impulse and distraction. Without it, you're constantly at the mercy of fleeting desires, wasting time and energy on things that don't serve you. But with discipline, you gain control. You choose where your time and energy go, and that choice gives you freedom. Discipline also creates resilience. When you practice discipline, you learn to push through discomfort, delay gratification, and stay focused on what matters. This resilience becomes a part of who you are, giving you the strength to face challenges with confidence. Most importantly, discipline aligns you with your goals and values. It ensures that your actions are in harmony with your intentions, creating a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. Rather than feeling like a restriction, discipline becomes a pathway to self-mastery and liberation. So, if you want freedom, true freedom to live life on your own terms, embrace discipline. It is the foundation upon which a life of clarity, purpose, and joy is built. Ultimately, the question of who controls your life is not answered by looking outward, but by turning inward. The power to shape your life lies within you through your awareness, your inner world, your ability to let go, your responsibility, your purpose, and your discipline. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You cannot stop the opinions of others, but you can stop letting them define you. And you cannot avoid challenges, but you can choose to face them with clarity and courage. The truth is, no one else holds the reins to your life unless you hand them over. The moment you reclaim that power, you begin to live not as a reaction to the world, but as a deliberate act of creation. So take a moment to pause. Reflect on where you've given away control and where you've claimed it. Life is not something that happens to you. It's something you create moment by moment, choice by choice. The question isn't, who controls your life? The answer is simple, you do. The question is, are you ready to take that responsibility? Because when you do, life stops being a series of random events and becomes a journey of growth, meaning, and fulfillment led by you. The choice is yours and the time is now.